Hi there, everybody. Well, today it is 74 degrees and sunny, but I'm keeping my sunglasses off because I feel like it's a little bit more relatable. You can see my face better, so I'll just squint as I need to. The sun's mostly at my back this time of year, so I probably don't really need to be doing that. But I will tell you this, the sunglasses I typically wear are polarized lenses, and the fall colors look absolutely amazing through polarized lenses. I don't know the science behind it, but the reds just really pop. So if you happen to be out somewhere and you see some cheap polarized lenses to keep in your car, yeah, you really want them, because those reds just really look spectacular. And that includes the Mazda red, by the way, not to be confused with the Tesla red, which also looks amazing, but I happen to own the Mazda red. So I like pulling into my driveway and seeing our little CX-5 just like vibrating, basically. It's so red. Anyway, I say that because it is a beautiful day and there's a lot going on. And so I don't have a big agenda here. I don't have like a list of things to talk about, but just off the top of my head, I figured I can probably fill in a little bit of this drive. But I imagine it's a week from yesterday until the election here in the United States, and I'm just tired, man. I work in an industry that I can't ignore politics, and as much as I want to, and that includes everything that goes with politics, which includes all of that. It includes all of that, and I've just had it to hear with every bit of it, plus the text messages and the phone calls and the mail every day. This is Pittsburgh, so we're in Pennsylvania, which is a battleground state, and I think on the busiest days we've gotten close to a dozen different campaign-related flyers in the mail. Like a stack, and then the next day there'll be like another half dozen to a dozen. It's really insane. And you can't escape it, and I can't escape it at work, and it's everywhere. So today is a nice sunny day, and I'm going to try and find some time to just kind of unplug from reality and get out into the sunshine, because it is unusual, I think, to be on the cusp of November and still be getting 75-degree sunny afternoons. So I don't want to talk about any of that stuff, because it's all going to be, we're going to be dealing with all of this stuff for months. I don't think it's going to be solved next week at all, or not even solved. I don't think it's going to be resolved. And that just adds into that weariness is how politicized Tesla has become with Elon. And so I can't get away from it just by getting in the car, and because that logo is right there. Maybe I should drive the Mazda a few days for the next week, just to kind of really purge myself. And then my wife has said I need to stop listening to the audiobook that I'm listening to, because it also is conjuring. So it's actually an interesting topic. And I know that there's people on here who are all about space and Mars and all of that, so you might appreciate that. I can't remember the title of it, and it's not coming up on my display because I'm recording this on the same phone. But there's a number of books out there you can find on the topic of what would it really take to settle or colonize Mars. And this one in particular is, and if I'll try and put it in the info for this video. I'll try to remember to put it in there so you can find it. It is not the Mary Roach book, although I do love a Mary Roach book, because I think they're kind of entertaining and informative. But it is one about space settling and Mars specifically, but including space stations and things like that. And it's really interesting because it gets into a lot of the how and the why, and frankly the why not and the how come not. And listening to that, especially on the heels of the Mary Roach book that I listened to last year, is it's pretty discouraging if you're somebody who thought that you might see a Mars colony in your lifetime. And I'm not super hyped on Mars, I never really have been. I kind of like it here, frankly. And I don't see what the romantic attraction is to life on Mars. I mean, it's going to be, best case scenario, extremely confining, sort of akin to living in a submarine more than anything else, just because the planet itself is hostile, at least in our lifetimes, no matter what you think SpaceX is capable of doing. We're not talking, like, you're not going for a walk out in the woods. You're not going to go fly fishing or skiing or anything like that. So I don't really see what the attraction to Mars is. But listening to this book, it's even more daunting than I thought. And I'm kind of really starting to question anybody who thinks that this is plausible on any scale in our lifetime beyond like a glorified capsule, which will double as a coffin, because those people not coming back. I don't know. It's crazy. I will put the book in the info below the video. It's entertaining and fascinating and pretty sobering if you're somebody who really is into a lot of space habitatization of any kind. And I say that while I'm probably going home and I'm going to watch one of the Star Trek shows. I don't know if it'll be Discovery or Strange New Worlds. I'm kind of watching both at the same time right now. It'll be one of those while I do my exercise before I eat lunch. And then I'll probably top that off with a walk outside, like I said, because it is gorgeous. Anyway, you don't need to know that. So anyway, listen to this book about Mars, and Mars is so linked with SpaceX and Elon that I wish them the best, and I hope he gets up there soon because of the things that I've read in this book. I feel like he kind of deserves that experience that he longs for. So go, which is a very different opinion than I think a lot of us had when, 10 years ago, when we were like, no, he can't do any of that stuff because we need him to stay here. The value of the company is intrinsic upon whatever. You know what? Go. Vaya con Dios. Take a ride. So anyway, little side note. I'm fascinated by anytime if I put so much as a mention of Musk in a tag or in a title or anything like that, it seems to get picked up by YouTube's algorithm. And the interaction, the view count, that pothole did get us. The interaction of the view count on the video is like through the roof compared to me just talking about car stuff. So yeah, the fanboy cult community is alive and well out there, and hi all you musketeers. I don't know. I think he lost the plot, and I'm not on board with that. But I'm allowed to own the stock because it's America, so it is what it is. Although there are definitely rumors that there's some big sales of Tesla stock coming up, either just prior to or just after the election. That includes the chairwoman of the board, and I think I've also seen reports that Kimball Musk has some kind of, I don't know if they're filings or what, but there's some expectation that there will be some fairly large blocks of shares going up for sale in the next week, basically, that could affect the share price, especially now that it's gone up after the RoboCab cyber taxi, whatever event, that is kind of running a little high right now, and people are going to be making moves to offload it. So I don't know, we'll see. I already made my money off Tesla stock, and whatever's in there now is just, we'll see where it goes. It doesn't, can't really hurt me. Interesting Reddit stock today, big pop, and my wife and I got a little bit of that on the IPO because why not? And it's like up 40% today. Okay, it's fine. So I did have something else. Oh, the Scout reveal. I should probably do a little bit more on the Scout reveal later. But I have to say, if they can bring it to market, it's another concept by another company coming soon in a couple years from a factory that's not built yet, though they are actually building it, but it's not actually built yet. So I don't know how much we want to put into those ever actually seeing the road surface or not. A lot can happen in a couple of years. But it does answer most of the criticisms that I had about Rivian from a aesthetic design standpoint, and seems to be undercutting Rivian costs with arguably larger and more useful vehicles that I happen to think look better, with interiors that are also comparable. They'll have access to the superchargers, I guess, from launch because of the agreement Volkswagen has, and it'll be running presumably Rivian software because of the agreement Rivian has. And all of that to say makes for a rather intriguing possibility on the market that doesn't currently exist. And I'm very excited to see if that actually happens, because I think that is the truck that most people might identify with of the big ones that are out there. There's a lot to like with that Scout. So I'll do a little bit more on it at some point. I do think it's funny that the dimensions that they put out at the reveal suggested that this thing was absolutely gargantuan in width. And then they realized later, no, we put out figures that are like 20 inches wider than the actual truck. So a little bit of a botched spec sheet at the reveal, but these things happen, and I'm not going to hold that against them. I do love that the philosophy seems to be one of we won't call it anti-tech, but of definitely not over-teching their vehicles. He kind of says in the reveal that Americans didn't forget how to turn knobs and push buttons and move switches, and I think that that's an acknowledgement that some companies, not naming names, maybe have gone a little too far with their reliance on screens, and I think that's a valid and a very fair the rumble strips and criticism. And so I'm kind of intrigued by that. Boy, this is like, I got to tighten up my mount. So yeah, the Scout looks promising. The Terra, the Traveler, they look really promising. And competition is good for everybody. It's good for Rivian. It's good for Tesla. It's good for Ford. It's good for everybody. And I think that is great to revive an American brand. I wish it wasn't a German company that owned it. Because when I first got this car, one of the things I really liked was that this was an American upstart. And, Scout is trying to play on that heritage of the nameplate a bit. But, it's Volkswagen money that's really behind it. So Rivian still gets the, as far as trucks go, still gets the gold star for that. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. I think we're still in for some exciting times with EVs, and I like that the love and the enthusiasm is starting to get. I feel like getting more and more spread out amongst multiple companies, and I think that's really great. So there's a nice positive note to leave on. Well, everybody, there we go. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you listening to the rambling.